Welcome back once again to the Ted Lasso After Show. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And tonight we're going to be talking about episode 3 of season 3 titled 451. I don't know what that means. Well, besides the position, I don't know if there's any deeper meaning there.
No, it was just a formation that they were talking
Yeah.
about. That's pretty much the only thing I was able to get out of that. Typically, like last week was a song. A lot of times there's a song that's kind of connected to the action, or like for instance, Upside Down Pyramid, which was the book that Beard was reading. I think this one here was just strictly the formation that they were going to run when Zava became part of the team.
Already got viewers. Hey, Boondy, best episode yet. That's how he feels. And Amber's with us too. Good evening. Excited to chat about this episode.
Yeah, a lot happened in this episode. But real quick, if you are new to us, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're forming a pretty cool, Ted Lasso, family here with everyone talking back and forth on what they thought of the episodes. And if you're not watching live, by all means, go ahead, drop a comment. We respond. We love the interaction. But I think it's time to dive in. Let's get into what was your first reaction to this episode?
It was I was surprised that, but basically it was the first half of it was like the entry of Zava, enter Zava. It was all about that, and then the second half was almost kind of like, it reminded me of almost like the karaoke episode from season 1. Was kind of an episode where like everybody shows up, like the entire cast shows up to Sam's restaurant. Even like a sassy Smurf. I mean, she was there. Like it was like everybody
sassy in this show. We can't just have a sassy in episode 3. I can't be the only one. I want her and Ted to actually be a thing. That's it. I'm shipping Ted and Sassy.
She does. She does. Well, maybe I don't know if Ted does or not, but he's very distracted. But anyway, it felt. I don't know if it felt disjointed very much. It felt like almost 2 separate episodes kind of smashed together. Because the first half and second half were so kind of distinctly different. But as far as progressing the story, I thought it was good. It was entertaining. It was fun.
Oh, so you thought it progressed the story?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Now I kind of came out the episode ended, and I had one of those. What did I really just watch here? Episode like thinking. So I had to stop. I had to think through it, and I was like, did we just get a filler setup episode? Because that's what it felt like. It felt like if you look back at it, it was setting up a lot. It was setting up Rebecca with the psychiatrist. That's like the psychic. You have Ted and his family, everything that's happened back at home. You have Rebecca, and you could say Keely, looking at things that they no longer have in both Roy and in Sam. Another thing would have been the pending destruction of the team. Zava's gonna blow this team up. I see it coming. It's gonna be like a nuclear bomb explodes in this team. And then you had the relationship between Roy and Jamie, and now that happening. So I feel like this episode was a setup episode for the remaining of the season.
That's fair. I think it escalated things that have been set up already, because we knew that Jamie was going to be conflicted about Zava being there. We get to see that in action, right? We knew that Ted was going to be conflicted with his ex-wife's new relationship. We saw that in action. We saw, I'm trying to think, the stuff with Roy and Keely. We saw looks there where Roy is, and now the friends, was it Sasha? Shandy, that's right. Keely's
one that likes eating your hair.
Right. I'm surprised she's sticking around. We didn't get any of Keely in the actual firm this episode, but we did get Shandy. So I felt like all the different kind of plot threads and storylines we've had, it's kind of escalating it. The Rebecca thing there was a new dynamic towards this. You really got, I haven't thought about this before. Most of the character stuff around Rebecca, I've been thinking about her relationship with Rupert. But there also is the, her lamenting the fact that she never had a kid, because of her career. And I forgot that was something that she did mention.
It wasn't just her career. Rupert wouldn't.
Well, Rupert, yeah.
It was mainly a Rupert thing.
And we see Rupert with his baby and the new Rebecca.
And he rubbed that in hard in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something. So I think there was a lot of good story. Oh, and then there's Colin and his relationship, that Trent scene.
Yeah, so, that was a brand new element.
Yeah,
Colin's a character that we've had like zero
I love the fact that they're
story on.
carrying over the joke from season 1 all the way to season 3 that he can't drive that car.
That was funny. Yeah, that was
Still
a
funny.
yeah,
But yeah, we touched on a lot, and there's a lot going on here. Boondy
yeah.
said and he loves the character of Zava.
I like Zava too.
Is
I do.
he's playing that head case, like, star, I'm the show character perfect. I love everything about it.
He is, but it's the characterization is different than I thought it was gonna be going in. I thought it was gonna be more like a Jamie kinda thing where it's like, "Okay, I'm the best. I'm here." And he wouldn't even pay attention to the team, but it's almost the opposite of that. It's like, yes, there's an understanding that I'm very, very good, like, I'm probably the best player that you're ever gonna see or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like there's no need to discuss that. That's an understood factor that everybody knows. But he does take the time to, like, bring the team in and, like, his own kinda weird existential way of, like, connecting with them with the breathing exercises
Yeah.
and it's like he is doing his own thing, but, like, at least he's, like it seems like he's happy to be there. It seems
It's
like
us,
he's
it's we, it's we-ness.
Yeah, and he's feeding off their energy, and they're feeding off his, and it seems to be pretty positive so far. I didn't expect it to be this positive.
Outside of him and Jamie, because I think he went out of his way in
Yeah.
that first game that they showed when he told Jamie to get open, he'll find him, and he shot at center court, at center field.
Okay, so I think that's a totally different thing. Should we get into it now? Let's just get into it now, because
Okay, well, let's see some real quick. We have a few comments here from Amber.
yeah.
You got him, or you want me to pull them up?
Oh, I don't know. You said you were pulling them up. You pull them up.
There we go. Okay. So it definitely felt like an episode that was meant to set up future ones. It showed each of the storylines. My personal favorite being relationship between Jamie and Roy, or Roy and
Yeah.
Jamie. Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is one of them right there. Another one here is I think the team's reaction to Zava's verse, how they initially treated Jamie.
Jamie irks Jamie the most. That's
Mhm.
fair. That's a fair point.
You see, you got Boondy here.
It's like he's a cult leader and Jamie wants none of it.
None of it. No, when he
that's
walks
funny.
in and they're all sitting on the yoga mats and he's got the bowl, he
That's a
drops
good
his
comparison.
bag, turns right around, grabs the bag, and walks right back out. That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so
definitely those vibes there.
So do you want to get it? What do you want to get in with first? You said you want to get into Jamie and Zava.
Well, there's just something specifically around what you mentioned as far as Zava telling Jamie specifically, get yourself open and I will find you. I don't think he was talking about the game. I don't think he was talking about that match that they were in because they blow right through where he just scores and then they go into the montage of, them winning for a few games. I think he was telling Jamie, get yourself open as far as being open-hearted, open-minded, and I will find you then. He was telling Jamie because he called Jamie over specifically because it's almost like he could feel the bad energy coming from that direction.
Okay.
And it was like throwing him off or something. So he called Jamie over and said, Jamie, get yourself open and I will find you. I don't think get yourself open as far as receive the ball or anything. Be more open towards me and I will find you. Like I will meet you there.
I watched it twice now. I watched it yesterday and I watched it about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that vibe either way. But you know what? Now that I sit back and think about it and you say that, it makes the conversation that Roy and Jamie have later make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of connect the dots of those two situations now with that. Because if he's saying, get open yourself, kind of spiritually to the team, the whole deal.
To this experience, yeah. Just
if
be with me on this journey.
Then he will find him. And then he will become, the player he's supposed to be. So I can absolutely see it. Now that you kind of frame it in that manner, I can buy that.
But I think Jamie took it how you understood it. I think Jamie took it as like, hey, I'm going to get you the ball. And then it didn't happen.
And then he just shot. And my thought was, man, why was that goalie so far off his line? But that's a soccer fan of me. That's all.
But yeah, that was unexpected for me as far as I knew that Zava was going to come in and make a huge impact. I mean, that was a no-brainer. But as far as how Zava treats the rest of the team, I thought that was kind of cool and refreshing. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, when he first comes in, he's talking to, like I said, it's we and us or we-ness or whatever he said. Every time he was stepping in front of Ted, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go because Ted's not hugely confrontational.
No.
And then he walks into Ted's office and moves all the pieces down to one, has his up top, and that's all it is. I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to
Well,
go.
it's weird, right? Because there are certain things where it's almost setting up for confrontation. Like I think down the line they're going to reach a point where it's not so copacetic between him and the rest of the team, or at least maybe him and the coaching staff or
Yeah.
whatnot. So I think eventually there will be a breaking point, but I don't know. This show, that's one of the good things about Ted Lasso is that I think it's going to go one way and it goes a different way, which I love.
And that's how we thought the whole, the him coming into the team is going to be originally.
Yeah.
And this may not be an atom bomb effect. Like I'm kind of thinking is setting up the destruction of the team. If they're going to go on and to win bigger and better things, he may be a part of the team. And the reason he leaves the team is he gets injured.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden it's kind of like a Roy Kent situation, he hurts his knee and he
Mhm.
can't continue anymore, and that's why he's not with the team beyond towards a championship.
Boondy's picking up what I'm putting down here around Zava and that specific dialogue that he has with Jamie, I think. But yes, should we just get into? We usually do it character by character. Should we start off with Ted and what
Let's
he
talk
goes through
about Ted
this?
because
Yeah.
there's a part of me that is heartbroken for Ted.
Uh-oh. Oh no, looks like you're about to sneeze. I think you're stuck. I think Chris is stuck.
Oh, my back.
Oh, I hear you.
Oh,
There
can
you
you see me?
are. I can see you.
Hey,
Yeah, you're
I've been
moving.
having internet issue guys today, so sorry about the
Yeah.
technical issues there.
But you were saying, what about Ted? Your heart was breaking for him.
Yeah, well, it both breaks for him, and it's like I'm proud of him in the same way with the character growth he's had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you see the call when he calls home, and he gets that doctor that has been helping him. I forget the name of the doctor is I was actually dealing with, but he answers the phone. All he wants to do is talk to his son, tell Henry, good luck during this game he's gonna have.
Yeah.
And this other guy answers the phone, and then he realizes who this other guy is, and he was the marriage counselor of him and his wife.
Right. That's kind of the sticking point, right? As far as, I mean, that would be for me if I were in that position.
Well, in past seasons, Ted would have he was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
But he was able to push through, which tells me he's learned a lot about, dealing with it when talking to Dr. Sharon.
Yeah, it was a panic attack, but I don't know if he pushed through it or if he was snapped out of it because that's when they had the goal and it was almost like shook him out of the feeling that he was in and it kind of ripped him out of it, as opposed to, I don't know, the way that was shot, that's how I read it anyway.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit of both.
Amber, I could see things coming to a head between Jamie and Zava, but because Zava does stuff like give an unnecessary tap to what would have been Jamie's first goal of the season. That's a good point, Amber. I forgot about that. Where it was like that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Unnecessarily stole that goal. Yeah, so
yeah, we'll see. Boondy says internet issues. Try living in Australia. Maybe they have giant spiders on the internet wires down there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Australia. And then
Dr. Jacob.
Yeah, Dr. Jacob definitely got into Ted's head intentionally or otherwise. I agree with Sassy. It's borderline unethical.
I think it was completely unintentional.
Yeah.
I don't think he did that intentionally. But yeah, it is, I would say, straight up unethical.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, not borderline, just straight up unethical.
That is, yeah, that should be off limits for sure. It's just, I don't know, an invasion of privacy, and you're privy to a lot of things, and I don't know, it seems a little icky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, he had the conversation, and it was it kind of not good for him for the rest of the episode, especially during the game. And we kind of see it in the montage where he's kind of doing the Facebook stalking thing, and he's looking at the doctor,
Facebook stalking thing was kind of well, I mean, it was appropriate to tell nowadays, the times.
Right. And we didn't get much more, Ted.
Without even meaning they're doing it.
Oh yeah, I think folks do that typically. But we didn't get much more from Ted than that. We just kind of see his state of mind. He does Sassy, could tell something was wrong, and he gives it up right away as far as what's going on. He's like, he just kind of like vomits
their
the truth
relationship is, I don't know. There's something about it. I think it's fun, and he needs that. He needs something to distract him from what's going on at home outside of dealing with the team and throwing himself into the team. what she
Yeah.
predominantly does. But Sassy seems like the exact opposite kind of person that he may have actually be attracted to. You know
Right.
what I mean? So her outbound, her bluntness, her just fly off the cuff, just kind of do anything type of personality.
Uh,
I think it might be good for him.
oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, distraction is putting it mildly. I certainly serves as that, but it's definitely a beneficial relationship for the both of them. Like they both kind of fill in gaps. I think Sassy's in need of a nice, like, confident. She's in need of a Ted Lasso in her life as far as just being like a good,
Yeah.
decent human being. All right, and
Yeah.
Ted is in need of like just someone like Sassy to kind of shake him out of his stupor every once in a while and like get his mind off things. So I think they're definitely filling gaps for each other.
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect way. Ted's her wounded bird, as
Yeah,
Rebecca's mom said
exactly.
last season.
Bundy says, "Will Ted go home?" I think so. He wants to be in his son's life.
I think Henry. Well, we've seen him in the clips. I think Henry is going to spend another portion of time over there with
Yeah,
him. Now, beyond the season, yes,
you
I
think
think
that's
he's.
like end game, right? The end of the season, he'll be heading back to
Yep,
America.
that's endgame. I think the way
Yeah,
he's going to ride out, like I said before, and some type of like he's going to leave, and he's going to leave like a basically what would I say? Not a mythical type person, but it's just he's going to have that aura to him.
we've mentioned it before, right? We compared him to Mary Poppins. It's just like coming in on the umbrella, doing the magic thing, and then popping out. And it's funny because they were talking about Julie Andrews movies in the
Yes,
beginning of this episode, and Ted mentions that Mary Poppins is his favorite
I
character.
love
So
Trenton
that's
Corinne when he gave the deep cut of the Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries.
That was
That's
funny.
right. And it was funny that Roy was like deep cut. He liked it. Roy liked that answer.
Roy was all about. He said, "No, I'm sorry about the drama or the whatever type of they were talking issue they were talking about." And he's like, "No, I'm good for it. We'll
Yeah.
go. You got my thumbs
Yeah.
up." He's completely different this season.
Who, Roy?
Roy,
Roy's
when it
had a
comes
lot
to
of growth.
his personality when he's in because he never even wanted to be a devil dog,
Right.
and now
Yeah.
he's openly a part of it with no issue.
Yeah. He's and I like that. I would that's that just goes to show his growth through the last couple of seasons. Um there is, let's see, I'm just going through as far as some of the other things that happened with the team exclusively. We talked about Zava and him showing up, keeping everybody on hold for 2 hours. I mean, there's a line, right? It's like that's what we're dancing with the Zava character. It's like we have an expectation of him being a total like I don't know, diva and
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
working around that, and his skill level kind of like, lets you forgive a lot of that. But we're kind of deciding where the line's going to be as far as what's the breaking point. When is that going to be pushed too far?
yeah, and Rebecca
And
doesn't even know because she was pissed when he was in
she
her office and everyone was down there. She was hot.
Yeah, she was. Let's see here, Boondy. I love their movie references too. Sometimes Boondy, I gotta watch with captions. Sometimes I gotta rewind because they talk so fast back and forth with each other. I'm like, what did I miss? I know I just missed
Oh,
like
definitely
12
when
jokes
it's
in a
Ted and
row.
Beard.
Yeah.
Oh, that back and forth, that banter is crazy.
Let's see, Christopher showing up. Hey, Christopher. All I know is Zava is based off
It's Zoltan
Zoltan.
Ibrahimovic. Yep, we
There
brought
you
that up.
go.
I brought it
Yeah.
last week. It's exactly who it is.
Yep.
They even got it down to the point where he looks like him.
Yeah. The actor's pretty good too. Like I buy that dude's a real footballer. There's a couple of people on the team like, well, maybe they look more like an actor than maybe a real footballer.
Yeah.
But he looks like a footballer. Amber, Roy was already a top character in my eyes, but he's definitely top 2 this season. I really like who he's evolving into for sure. Now he and Keely need to get back together really forever. I know there was that longing look in the hallway.
It's gonna
Like
happen. I think
like
they're gonna wind up back together.
yeah.
When and how the whole thing, it could be more Roy. This is just me, just thinking out loud here, but it could have been more Roy kind of working on himself. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? I don't know if I'm ready for what they're going because even Phoebe called him out in the car.
Mhm.
Was it last episode? I mean, you're essentially being stupid.
Right, I don't really know. I guess maybe it's just, is it a lack of confidence? Is just him being not sure
I don't
of
think he's sure about
himself?
himself as a coach.
Yeah, and how does that spill over into his relationship with Keely? I guess it was just the career thing. I guess that was enough to see Keely really kind of shooting off like a rocket in her career, and him kind of like trying something new and being so unsure.
Well,
But
she was
see,
sure about her career and he wasn't. Like
yeah,
she was self-confident. This is gonna work. We're gonna go new heights with this. And then he's sitting back thinking, okay, Nate just left. I basically just been promoted, and I can't even guarantee I know what I'm doing.
yeah. Well, you and I have both been married for a long time, so we know what it's like to like go through hard times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I have to remember that not only are these characters fake, but they're in like a fairly new relationship, and that kind of thing. I guess could be jarring and set you off to where you would break up. Because in my head, I'm like, why don't they just lean on each other and get through it and talk about it? And but I've been married for 15 years, so I guess that's my frame of reference. Um, yeah, anything else here as far as Zava? Oh, yeah, see, like you mentioned, when he like pointed out the Kit Man Will, and
I
he's like, "You're
love
the
that.
most
I thought that
important
was
person on the
cool.
team." He came in and just like bewildered all of the guys, and they were ready for it. Granted, I mean, they were like true believers without him even entering the locker room. But yeah, he really kind of set his sights on them. And is this fake though? Is the whole Zava thing? Is this like a front? Or does he know what he's doing as far as getting the best results from a team?
Oh, that's hard telling because he's been on teams and he's always wins. So he knows there's got to be more than just him being great because it takes more than one person to being great.
Yeah.
So I don't I can't answer that honestly. I don't know.
That's what I'm confused by because everything that we've heard of Zava thus far is that he's a tremendous talent, but when he leaves a team, the team goes to a shambles. Like they are just like, he wrecks teams from within, basically.
Yeah.
So, and we may still see that play out, but everything that we're seeing so far, it seems that he's really like strengthening the team as a whole, not just himself, but like seems like he seems to be a positive influence on the team. So I'm wondering where that dynamic's going to come in.
Yeah, there's going to be something somewhere. I mean, it could have been as small as a hint as when
Yeah,
Zava asked Sam, where does he get his avocados from? And he says, there's not a whole lot of avocados in African cuisine. And he said,
yeah,
not yet.
right. That was a
Not,
weird. Yeah, that was a weird
not
touch.
yet.
Yeah, like Sam was like, okay. Amber says Roy hinted that he left Keeley before she could leave him. Right. Yeah, exactly. He's afraid of rejection. He needs to get over that and accept she might never have rejected him. It could have gone the distance. And yeah, I think so too. But then again, it's like, how does Roy totally misread? Because I think Keeley was pretty honest about how much she cared for Roy. So how does he misjudge that or just think that it's like not as solid as it is? I don't
He's
know.
a dude. We screw that all up.
Well, yeah, maybe, maybe. Zava wrecks teams because they literally can't score without him. He doesn't let others try. Amber's on it as far as the Zava stuff tonight. You're
Yeah,
right
she's
about
pretty
that's a
much
fair
spot
point.
on what's going on in
Yeah,
this episode.
you see him, you see Zava, don't you,
Yeah, she
Amber? You
sees
see what he's
right
about.
through it. That is awesome.
Let's see. Jamie shares his concerns.
I love that. And then I
Yeah,
loved how when Beer was like, aren't you being ironic? And he right before he walks out, he said, no, I'm being hypocritical. And they
I
almost
know
broke Beard.
he got Beard because Beard had a look in his eye like, oh crap.
I
I think
got
he's
that.
right.
Right. Like so Ted's even asked me, you right? He's like,
Yeah.
he just makes noises.
Yeah,
And Ted's like, well,
Jamie
isn't
just
that
got one
ironic?
over on Beard. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen that a couple seasons ago. That's
Oh,
funny.
that whole basically that interaction there. I love the fact that Jamie's to the point where he'll just walk into Ted's office and just
Hmm.
be open
Yeah,
about it, knowing how it was going to be taken, because that's exactly how Jamie was when he first met him.
yeah,
That was Jamie's character. Now Jamie's come a long way
right.
since we first met him, and to be able to say he's going to wreck the team, and he sees what's coming because basically he was looking in the mirror essentially.
Hmm.
I know what that type player does to a team because I did that to this team
Right.
specifically before he left. And then
Yeah.
when he walks out, and I like the fact that Roy, not Roy, but Ted's like, you know what? Feel free to talk whenever you have something, share what's on your mind. And
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing with Ted. Ted
Yeah.
wants to hear from everybody. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or ugly. Let me
Right.
know what you're thinking so we can then address it.
Right. Amber says Jamie is another one who's grown a ton. Exactly. And I feel weirdly proud. Yeah. Kids growing on me, which I imagine is how Roy feels. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I couldn't
Uh,
stand Jamie season 1. Like when he gave him that army man, he shipped him out. Well,
yeah.
he didn't even ship him out. He was sent away. Like
Right.
like Ted didn't even do that. But Jamie seen it as Ted sending him out.
Yeah.
So the whole like full circle coming back and now he's almost a leader on the team is there is a like a feel good story in here. Go figure.
There is. Yeah. And speaking of Roy and Jamie, they forge a little alliance here. We should take a look at that.
Point is, he's the best player on the team. And right now, all you got to do is try and keep up with him.
Fuck that. I don't want to just keep up with him. I want to be better than him.
I could train you. But only if you fucking mean it.
Yeah. I do mean it.
How's he going to
I
train
believe
him?
Jamie.
Yeah.
The way he said it, I do believe it.
Oh, I did. I think both these guys are genuine. Yeah. I think Roy, because Roy's too smart. I think Roy understands that Zava is a necessity for this team right now as far as getting points for the season, but I don't think I think Roy probably sees what Jamie sees too, but everybody's just kind of like keeping it subdued for right now.
Well, yeah.
And Jamie's really the only one that says, we can do it without this guy. I think that's going to be, and I kind of mentioned this the last couple episodes. I think that's going to be Jamie's arc this season is like finding a way for this team to excel without the help of Zava is going to be Jamie's overall mission. And I think him finding that way, he's going to like solidify himself as the team leader, as the guy that the other guys can rally around and move forward. And I think that'll be that'll be a pretty satisfying arc if, that should come true. I don't know.
You really got to get back to the whole, like they were like, the conversation about who are they sitting, who are they moving around. And they said, basically we're saying, well, Jamie's fragile. I'm not kidding. There was a bunch of other words.
Precious Moments figurine. Yeah.
So he has to get back past that portion of almost insecurity, almost the same thing that Roy's going with the whole Keely situation.
Oh, that's interesting. Boondy says, this is Yoda Luke scenario, Star Wars reference. Thank you, Boondy. Boondy joined us for our Mandalorian show last week. I hope you're there again this Friday night. We do a Mandalorian after show too. Be sure to check that out. But yeah, I asked, like, what's that going to look like as far as this like trainer, trainee, mentor, student kind of relationship between the two? And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I love how he said you were the best player on the team.
Yeah,
but it happens to all of us.
Right.
So it's kind of like you can be it, and then someone else can come in and surpass you if you're not going to work at keeping it. And it was almost like he was saying you weren't working hard enough. You were sitting back on your natural talent,
right,
and not putting the work in.
Yeah.
Zava's got the natural talent too, but he doesn't put the work in. So if Jamie puts the work in, he can do more than just keep up.
I don't know. Did you see that guy without a shirt on? It seems like he put some work in. Seems pretty fit.
Not in the weight room, on the pitch.
Right. And all those tattoos. Did you see the tattoo of himself?
Oh, he's holding up himself. Jamie looks at the back tattoo. He's like, oh my God.
He was so confused.
Really?
Yeah. He's like Jamie, like turned up to 11. Like it's insane. It's crazy.
They've got these characters like so down.
Yeah.
Like, they have, I mean, honestly, with all the characters they brought into the show from day one to now, I don't think they've missed on a single character. Even the side characters, even like Sassy's daughter, when they were climbing in the window and she falls out of the tree, that
yes,
all those things, I feel like they've hit on all of them.
I think they have too. Let's talk a little bit about Rebecca. I want to mention Sam's restaurant, but there's something specifically that goes down at his restaurant that I think we should talk about first with Rebecca. Like, basically the big kind of crux of this episode for Rebecca was her actually seeing the psychic that her mom set her up with in the episode. And Rebecca's skeptic, of course, like most people are, kind of going in there. The psychic, though, says some things that are kind of really out of the blue as far as a green matchbook and
Upside down and going to be a mother.
gonna be a mother. Rainstorm, lightning, shite and knighting armor. I guess there's somebody mixing up a knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
Um, just really weird, specific things that we're probably gonna see. And yeah, once she mentions that, oh, Rebecca, you're going to be a mother, that's when Rebecca really is
She
like,
flipped. She's like, I thought you were
F
harmless,
you,
but no, you're
you're
cruel.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she storms out of there. But you can tell that it has a real effect on her because later down the line, she's thinking of all those things the psychic
Well, yeah,
mentioned.
she's laying the match in her house, and she looks at the
Hmm.
matchbook, and she goes through all the matchbooks that are in the actual drawer.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's nothing green in there at that time.
Right.
And then at Sam's restaurant when they hands out those green matchbooks, that's when she starts hitting the shots hard.
She does. Her and Keely both, you kind of feel for them in that moment. I mean, they have each other, but they start looking at like past relationships that they have
Yeah,
that are
because
no
you see
longer
them, they
there.
stop and they're looking in certain areas, and you see
Yeah.
Rebecca looking at Sam, then you see Keely both look at Jamie.
Jamie and Roy. Yeah.
And I love how Sassy called her a twat.
Like, yeah, look at this Sam guy, this young guy, this footballer that's actually very successful. Look at this beautiful restaurant he's opening up, and you walked away from that like whatever. Yeah, Booney says the chef, Sam's love interest. That seems to be what they're setting up. Yeah,
Yes.
I think you're right on that. Amber says, I totally get why the mother comment got to Rebecca so much. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not enough to have Rupert essentially waste those years of her life, but to have a stranger say that at her age, that would sting. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that shakes out with, well, here's what was going through my head.
Is she going to be a mother as in like traditional, or is it going to be she's going to meet somebody that has a child and she becomes like a stepmother? She actually becomes a mother that way. Because we
Right.
don't know exactly how old she is, in the show.
I assume like late 40s and into her 50s. She could potentially actually have a child, but I don't know. Yeah, I think there's other ways of fulfilling that prophecy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She could adopt for Pete's sake.
Yeah,
And
my
that's
wife's
actually
first instance was like, Sam? I was like, well, she separated from Sam back during the wedding, not the funeral. And that was a few episodes. Now we're a whole off season plus 6 games in.
yeah.
There's that timeline would have been all out of whack if they tried that, unless they show us something.
Right. Which, yeah, she would have known by now if that were the case.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's another love interest, or here was actually what was going through my mind, and it kind of scared me. And I was like, I hope they don't do this, but if it does happen, that would be very traumatic. But anyway, I was thinking that something bad happens to Sassy, like because the psychic was kind of freaking out.
No, and then she adopts Phoebe,
And like she adopts
Not
Phoebe, or not Phoebe, yeah, Sassy's daughter. I forget.
yeah,
her
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Because we've already seen those two together and connect and kind of reconnect.
Yeah, the whole
and-
episode when she was like, boss ass bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a connection between those. No, we can't. No, you can't talk the Sassy demise into this universe. I'm not going to allow.
I don't know, man. That's what was going through my head, and it would affect Rebecca. I mean, it would affect everybody. It would affect Rebecca. It would affect Ted, and like,
Dude, I can't
don't
have
know.
Ted have any more trauma. Man,
I
you are
know.
really writing some trauma into this season.
I am. I'm sorry. That's usually your job. I'm so sorry.
I know.
Boondy, off to work, lads. I'll listen in the car. Oh, good. Hey, any way you can, Boondy.
Yeah,
we
right. We
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Have a great day at work, sir. Thank you. But yeah. Also, sorry to introduce that theory into the world, but that's what was going through my head
I'm
after
just
the
not
psychic
cool with
reading.
that. No.
Yeah.
Like I said, I cannot believe.
Don't believe that. Amber says, I'm guessing Rebecca's around 45, given that they keep saying Sam is half her age, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
it's really tough and risky to have a kid at that age. Not impossible, though. Right, yeah. So it could, honestly, it could go either way. Amber also says, I'd love to see Rebecca adopt, but not at the loss of Sassy. Right?
Yes, not at the loss of Sassy.
Yeah. Well, if we go, because I think you've said before that the end of the series, you can see them doing a little kind of like montage or a flash forward where you see the progression of these characters down the road, after the football season and how things kind of shake out for all the characters. So, maybe we do see something like that.
Yeah. And it's going to be really, I mean, there's a side kind of note that I put within our notes here after the actual, dinner party.
Yeah.
You see Trent Grimm walking down and he sees Colin and his boyfriend in the alley,
Yeah.
which he's been hiding all this from the team,
He's been hiding from the viewers too. We had no idea.
Yeah, just in general. When they started, it was kind of a little jarring. So they never gave us any kind of indication that there was any type of, he had any type of relationship going on.
Yeah.
So with that happening, and my first thought when Trent was walking by, I was like, don't write about it.
I know.
Just don't write about it. Something.
You saw a look on his face though, where I feel like he was
But he doesn't have to
thinking
turn
about
a column in weekly anymore.
Right.
He's not working for the Independent. He doesn't have he's writing a book. Now it may become a side note in the book. Maybe. I don't know.
Or I could see it being a conversation where he sets Colin aside before he even writes anything and being like, look, I know this, and how do you want me to handle this? Or you need to
I don't want to be the one that puts it out there.
Right. I don't want to out you, so I think you should come, that kind of thing.
And I think
Well, let's see here. Michelle joined us. Hey, Michelle, welcome back. I had the same thought about Sassy passing, but it would be so painful. See? Michelle sees it.
No, I can't. No.
I'm not laughing in glee to have it happen. It's a lot of trauma. I
cannot be rickrolled again in this season. And it better not be with Sassy.
I don't want to see that either. I'm just saying, I feel like they're almost laying some threads downwards. That's a potential here. Roy was foreshadowing when he called Colin a chameleon. Oh, right. Just kind of like hiding in plain sight kind of thing. Yeah. You know what? I appreciated it though, because we knew next to nothing about Colin as a character, besides the fact that he doesn't drive very well. He drives very expensive cars and he can't drive them very well. But
he's a
now
and capable male.
He's strong and capable, which he kept telling himself that. Is that because he got bumped down to like off the field? Like, is he on the bench or something? Oh, okay, that's why.
When he got he became a sub. That's when he repeated it, and that's when Isaac was like, "Are you okay?" And he said that. He said, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
like he didn't believe what he just said. Like there was no like strength behind it. It was like, okay, I'm saying this to myself. Kind of if you put it in the same aspect of Nate spitting in the mirror.
Yeah,
trying to psych himself up to be like, okay, I'm all right. We'll get through this type situation.
I hope we do. I think we will see more of this storyline, however it progresses. But I do want to see a conversation with Trent and Colin going forward. I hope we do see something like that.
I mean, honestly, I believe there will be. And the reason I think there will be is for the same reason that Trent went to actual Ted before he actually put the article out about his panic attack.
Yeah.
I think there's an actual level of respect for Ted and the team, because the team has brought him in. I mean, he's been welcomed at every point now.
You know, the AFC Richmond that existed prior to Ted coming on board maybe would have given Colin a hard time about that, but I honestly don't see this team with these people caring much that Colin had that preference, in his life. Like, I don't know. I can see why Colin would be afraid to come out, because, that could potentially change the dynamic.
You're in the showers.
Yeah.
That whole deal, yeah.
But I don't see anybody really kind of coming down on him about that. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that is a storyline that they're actually going to have to give us something from. They can't just give us nuggets. Like, now that they've given us that much, it's just more needs to be hashed out. Definitely with Trent knowing and nobody else knowing.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we missed. We talked about the Julie Andrews movie references. The whole prima donna conversation between Jamie and Roy at the table. That was funny. Are you saying pre-Madonna? It's funny because it's like Jamie really brushed up his book smarts the last couple seasons, I think.
He did it twice in this episode between getting Beard and now getting Roy. I was like, hold on, what's going on here?
Jamie surprising people. Amber says, I saw a theory that Trent will go to Colin and help him in coming out because Trent himself is gay. Potentially, it may be. Not sure if he's entirely plausible, but I don't remember hearing much about Trent's personal life. Right.
I like that theory. Really, I would prefer that. Almost kind of like a mentor. Like, okay, this is we can go this way. This is how people took it when I said something,
That feels a lot better than, because from Trent, it would be coming from a place of personal growth and experience, as opposed to a straight guy just going to a gay guy and being like, "Hey, you should come out."
Yeah.
If Trent had that in his own life, then that
If
just
Trent
feels
sat
a
him
lot
down
better.
and talked to him and gave him his own experiences,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know. That's I'm just gonna say I know. I'm just gonna
Right.
say I know, and this is what I went through with my
Yeah.
experiences with the same situation you're going
And
through.
that might give Colin the self, reliance to be able to come out, to the team. I don't
To
know.
the
We'll
team.
see. That's a good theory, Amber. I like that. We'll see how that plays out. The prima donna bit had me rolling. Love those cultural debates they throw in there, here and there. I do too. Like I said before, like I have to like pause it sometimes
They're
and
quick
rewind, and
hits.
they
Yeah, they're
are.
really quick sometimes because if you're not paying attention, you're halfway through and you're like, hold on, what is truly happening here?
So Rebecca does get the green matchbook from Sam's restaurant. And interesting that it happens at Sam's restaurant, a former lover, that's there's a connection there. I don't know. Like I'm sure we're gonna see more clues and hints drop and see Rebecca kind of internally freaking out about this thing throughout the rest of the season. You think?
I just had a really weird thought. Now I want
Oh
everyone to
no.
shoot this down immediately.
Okay. All right.
What if there was a night of weakness and it was Rupert?
Right.
Like what if that's the what it comes to? Knight in sheet and armor, like he's a sheethead, and it
Right.
was a night like a thunderstorm, some
Or
situation happened,
he's had too much to drink, or
and
just like,
it
yeah,
uh-huh.
anything.
And then she's forever tied to this man that she can't get rid of.
Already. Ew, not Rupert. I know.
Yes, like I said, please shoot me down. I want that. I
Yeah.
want that shot down quickly. But I mean, it's
Look, they were together. Well, they were married for
yeah,
many years. So I mean, it's not implausible. And sometimes feelings like that evolve out of like hate. Like passion can come from hate as well.
yeah.
As far as just like I can see them, like her going to confront him, and one thing leading to like, if that, like, I don't think it would be totally out of left field for that to happen, but that does feel gross. You're right, Amber.
Well, thank you for coming to shoot me down because I like that idea. But I like the idea of I'm being told no on that one. They're just like I said, one of those. No, I hope that's
Yeah.
not right. I want everything else I'm saying to be right. That one there, I want to be completely wrong.
So we went through it here as far as like you felt like there wasn't a lot of progression, but we kind of talked through a lot of these characters' storylines here. Do you still feel the same way, or how do you feel overall
I
about the
still
episode?
feel like this episode was more so a setup
Mm,
for the rest of the season. Like there was
yeah.
a lot of good things that took place to all the characters, but
Hmm.
it was more a we're setting the tables for all
Right.
this stuff to happen. And like
Yeah.
I can't wait to start seeing the progression with Jamie, with Roy training him at 4 a.m. in the morning. 'Cause even Jamie was like 4 a.m. What?
Yeah. Sometimes in the season you have to have episodes like that where really it's just like it's the
But
setup.
do we with only 10 episodes? And we're used to, I mean, what old fashioned
Well,
TV had like what 20
like
plus
22,
episodes?
yeah, like 22. I think you do at least have one or two. Yeah, I think you do at least have one or two episodes like this in a season where it kind of sets you up because it makes the payoff that much better. To have episodes like this.
You have another one shooting me down.
She'll never hook up with Rupert. I'm hoping she and Sam will get back together. The cook is meant to wake Rebecca up. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, that cook relationship could go either way, either as a love triangle kind of thing, which Amber mentioned here, or if it's just like a hey Rebecca, like snap out of this and just get you something good in life.
Show us she had something good.
Right? Yeah,
Well, even Sam said, I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
he did.
When
Yeah, he
you're
did.
ready, I'll be ready type situation. That's basically what he told her when they were in the closet. It was like, you do you get ready, you
Right.
find yourself and where you need to be before you're ready to make this long-term commitment.
Well, once again, I actually liked the episode, even like a setting the table kind of episode. Like it was highly entertaining.
Oh, that's never a
Entertaining.
bad episode. I don't want
Yeah,
you to think that
yeah,
I'm me thinking this was like a setup episode or filler type episode,
right.
as in saying I didn't like the episode. No,
They've done
by all means.
such a good job with just the interplay between all these characters, where now it just feels like we're just checking into a world, and seeing and getting updates as far as everybody. And
I
yeah,
love
it's
Rupert
so much fun.
seeing him pissed off that they were climbing the ranks
Oh,
and they were
yeah.
scoring. Zava
And Nate
when he
too.
yeah, Nate was watching. You got no real response out of Nate. Nate was
Right.
just watching, just like deadpanned.
We did get from the ESPN-ish kind of sports commentators, though, kind of that aspect, the overall their feelings on like Nate is a better coach than Ted Lasso, just as far as
Well, they still
strategically,
don't
those
believe
kind
in
of
Lasso.
things.
They're never going to believe in Lasso.
Yeah.
I mean, those type people that are just so ingrained in the English soccer, they're never going to
Right.
truly accept an American coach. There's
Yeah.
been quite a few that have gone over there, and they're hit or miss on how well they do.
Hmm.
But that's real life. We're seeing that within our own American soccer culture, the MLS. We're
Yeah.
seeing, it's so that is spot on as
Hey,
well.
if the roles were reversed and somebody from the UK came over to coach an NFL team, I think we'd probably feel the same hesitation. We'd be like,
This
this
is the
is
wrong football, buddy.
yeah, that's wrong. So that's it. Hey, episode 3 of season 3 of Ted Lasso, titled 451. Another enjoyable one here. We will be back next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. to talk about episode 4 of the final season of Ted Lasso. We're getting closer and closer to the end there,
And we're
buddy.
finally going to see an actual confrontation between West Ham and Richmond.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay, just a side note real quick. Do you like getting the actual thumbnail for next week's episode, or would you rather not know till they drop the episode?
I think I'd rather not know. I think I'd rather not know because it feels like kind of a spoiler, which they don't give much. It's just like, but I mean, that is a lot to say
But we're
next
so
episode.
deep into it, like definitely
Yeah.
us, and then our viewers here that are watch, that we can take 2 sentences and
Hmm.
know the whole episode.
Right.
I mean, we won't know the dynamics of the episode, but we know what essentially is going to happen within that episode. So
I
I
don't know if
try not to read any of it.
Amber's looking forward to next week. She says the lack of Nate has been refreshing, though it looks like that's coming to an end next week. Yeah, I kind of hope Jamie's the one who points out to Nate that he's driving Rupert's car.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And Amber also says, I'd rather not know. The surprise makes it that much better. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
There we go, guys. Well, you know what? First and foremost, thank you all of you for joining us. I mean, we have, Amber and Michelle. We had Boondy earlier.
And Christopher joining us
Yeah,
tonight.
Christopher
too. Thank
joined us
you.
for the first time. So it was a lot of you. So we always want to thank you guys for, joining the conversation, being a part of, the Dan and Rock family here. But until we see you next week for Ted Lasso, how about you check us out tomorrow or Friday, I should say.
Friday. Yep.
For, The Mandalorian. But I guess until then, what's a good Lasso ending?
I
Let's see.
don't
Don't
know.
be a goldfish.
Don't be a goldfish. You got to believe. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. Believe.
Yeah, believe.